In the comment section, I got this comment. What is a game of yours you are very proud of? It would be nice to see recaps of your games too. And that reminded me of this game. It's a game I played in 2017 against a player who was 24-46 from Myanmar, International Master. And it was a very instructive game, very great game that has a lot of strategical concepts that I already talked about in this channel. So maybe you will see that I am preach what I teach or something. So knight f3, my opponent started and I went on to play g6. As I used to be a King's Indian player, so that was a nice reply. If you go d4, it's a King's Indian, and I used to be also accelerated dragon player. So if you go e4, I go c5, and that's actually what happened in the game. My opponent went to play what's so-called the King's Indian attack, g3, and then I played bishop g7. By the way, with this video you will learn how to play against the King's Indian attack and what's probably the most optimistic setup against it. Bishop g2, knight c6, castling short, and I played d6, and after c3 he wanted to play d4. I said no. And this is so-called the Botvinnik setup versus the King's Indian attack, and it's almost a very useful setup if your opponent allowed it, yeah? It's not easy to be allowed, by the way. So after e5, my opponent played a slow chess, and he went on to play d3. I played knight g to e7, keeping the diagonal open for the bishop and keep kind of control over the d4 square. Once, twice, thrice, and thrice. I'm not sure of thrice, but you understand me. So after a3, I got castled, and then he played b4, and I knew this far, and now I played a6. Why a6? I want to get my knight stable here, so I won't be kicked away at any time. Like, I don't want to keep calculating b5 every single time. And this is actually a very useful advice. Always put your pieces in places that cannot be attacked later to be stable, yeah? So after a6, knight b to d2 was played, and now I played h6. Why h6? Because again, I am searching stability for my pieces. If I played bishop e6, there's a chance that my opponent will play knight g5. By the way, this is the best piece that I do have in this structure or in this position, as my pawn structure are located on dark squares, so my dark squares are really covered, but my light squares are bad or are weak, so that's why this is the protector of the light squares. So after knight bd2, I went on to play h6. My opponent played rook to b1. He said that if you go bishop b6, you might lose a pawn after tick tick tick. I said it's fine, no problem. So after rook b1, I played queen c7. So the pawn is protected, and I would like to go bishop to e6. My opponent went on to ask me another question. Like, you cannot go bishop e6 as there is a pressure here on c5, and he's asking for the pawn. So thanks very much. I played b6. And now after b6, actually the game was kind of in a slow rhythm. And all of a sudden, my opponent strike in the center, and he played d4. And he said, like, I want a fire on the board now. I have 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you do have also 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I start exchanges, that will not be in my favor, as take. This is winning position for white. Why? Because now my king is weak, bishop b2 probably is coming, ideas like maybe e5, and I am kind of lack development. So I started with c4. As I noticed that it's not easy to play knight bd2, as you will cover the protection of the queen, as the protection of the knight will be gone away. So maybe I will win a pawn, yeah? That's why my opponent played knight a1. And here a very important practical advice. Whenever your opponent's pieces went back or go back, like for example like this, knight a1, always think about strike in the center. Open things up for your pieces to make use of the delay that your opponent has done. And this is actually a delay. If I gave him time, he will bring his knight back and he's fine. But I striked with f5. This is super important, yeah? And now it was not easy for my opponent, because if he took this way, maybe I do have bishop f5, yeah? Attacking the rook, and if rook b2, probably bishop d3 attacking the other rook, and maybe ideas like e4 even seems very interesting. Also, knight d5 is also a very powerful idea. So after f5, to keep things closed, my opponent played d5. And now I went back with my knight to b8. By the way, I do believe knight d8 is another idea, as I do have knight f7 as well. Though back then I played knight b8. Now f takes c4 is another idea. And my opponent played knight c2. And here actually were the, like, one of the very nice strategical ideas that I played in this game. Like maybe 1 week ago or 1 month ago, I already published a video about the most important strategy in chess. And I still do believe this is one of the most important strategies in chess. Probably the most, as I used it in this game, which is called how to use a weak square. And now in this position, my opponent has a weak a4 square and a weak b3 square, d3 square as well. So if my knight can reach a weak square, that will be great. What is a weak square in this position? This is actually a weak square. So can my knight reach here? Yes. How to do that? I played knight d7, and after knight d2, I played b5. By the way, if you did not check that video, check it out. And if you did not subscribe to the channel so far, please do. So the point of b5 is to go knight b6, knight a4 to make use of the weak square that I can also attack a weakness on my opponent's camp. So I played b5. He went in to play f3. I played knight b6, and after rook to a1, first off, I did not play knight a4. And this is a practical advice. It's not something about, it's not a theory. It's a practical advice. Whenever you have a threat, delay it. So your opponent will spend more time each move thinking about my knight a4. I'm threatening but not executing, as there is a rule called threat is stronger than execution. Because if I played knight a4 and my opponent found a way to defend against, then he will no longer think about it. But now I played king h7 in the game. It's a move with a reason, still keeping knight a4 in the air and keeping in my opponent's mind how to protect against knight a4 threatening the pawn on c3. But wait a second, like why king h7? Why didn't you play another move? Because in this position I had a bad piece. What your worst piece is in this position? This knight. This knight is not playing neither nor nothing. So how can I improve this knight? I will show you. King h7. And after queen e8, knight g8. This is kind of a masterpiece for me. Like I don't want to be someone who's saying good things about his games, but this is a game I am proud of. I do have too many games that I am ashamed of, but this one is great. So after knight g8, my opponent played knight e3 and I improved my knight. Now my knight makes some sense, as maybe I am attacking on e4 as well, and maybe after f takes e4, ideas like knight g4. And here my opponent played rook a2 and I played an interesting move, and it's suggested by the stockfish here, f4. My idea was, if my opponent took, I don't want to take back, I want to play knight h5. And from a knight that has no square to go, to a knight that will occupy a very nice, a dream position, a dream square on f4, that will be lovely. But my opponent said, no, I'm not going to allow weaknesses, and he played knight d1. And now I took. He took back, and now I played knight h5. And now my knight makes sense. Actually, I made kind of a mistake, but it's fine with these exchanges. Probably I should have kept the attention more, but no problem. My knight here is working as I am pressuring the g3 pawn. And whenever you push, that will be great. My knight is super strong. So my opponent played king h2. But now, I figured out I have another bad piece. Thanks or because of this pawn structure, my bishop is feeling L. I'm not striking here. I'm not striking here. I'm not striking here. I'm striking nowhere. So what should I do? I need to do something with this bishop. And this is something probably I have talked about in another video that talked about what to exchange and what not to exchange. So how to exchange and to improve this bishop? Bishop f6. What's the point? The point is to play bishop g5. See? I improved this knight. I improved this knight. I improved this bishop. I am improving every single piece. My opponent played knight b1. And there is a rule that says to take is a mistake. If I exchange, I will improve your pieces. But I want you to exchange. I want you to exchange on my terms, not on your terms, and improve my queen. My opponent did not, and he played bishop e3 attacking the knight. Now, as you're forcing me to play knight a4, I went on and played knight a4. And now my knight is much stronger and applying super pressure here on c3. Knight h3 attacking. Yes, now you're forcing me again, so I played bishop takes c3, queen takes c3. And now, this rook is not working. Where do I want my rook to be? On f7. How to put the rook here? I played bishop d7 first. I wasn't, by the way, worried about my bishop, as the bishop is normally fighting from its own place, so it's fine. So I played bishop d7, and after knight g1, I played rook f7 to improve the other rook. And now my opponent played a nice exchange, which is bishop h3 in order to exchange the two bishops, but it's fine, no problem. I took, my opponent took back, and I brought my other rook to the game. So a great knight here. They said a knight on the rim is dim, right? But the knight on the rim is gem. It's great now, yeah? So after rook a to f8, I'm kind of attacking here on f3, improving my pieces. The queen is good, knight is good, knight is good. And my opponent played king to g2. But now I asked myself how to improve. I really don't know how to improve. Like my pieces are great, but where is the thing? There is nothing tangible, you know? I am better, but nothing tangible. I came up with this tactical, very nice idea, which is g5. What's this g5? Bear me a second. My opponent played knight d2 as the pawn is protected, but now I played rook g7. What am I cooking to do? Wait a second. He played knight f2, and now I played knight f4. Striking! The point is, you cannot take, as you will lose your queen, yeah? So after knight f4 check, my opponent played king h2, thinking that, okay, it's fine. I'm not going to exchange. I'm doing great. However, now as my queen is not working or not active enough, I played the queen f7, threatening queen h5 check. Now in this position, probably my opponent is fine, if not fine, but maybe will survive a bit more if he played knight b1. But he played rook h1, and now I found a creative move. Fantastic move. What was the move? See how I found that move. I thought about queen h5 check, but then I saw that this is the only move, and I saw this knight e2 idea, yeah? But my opponent will take. So as I do have knight e2, I started with this idea, knight takes c3. Wow. I am attacking the rook, and if you take on f4, I'll take back with the g pawn, threatening the queen, the rook, and the king actually is in a huge danger. And if you take my rook, I will give you a check. You go back, I give you another check. If you go to f1, maybe knight g3 is stronger, but knight c3 is good enough. If you take my queen, I'll take yours. And I am up in exchange. Two active rooks, passers, I'm completely winning. So that's why after knight c3, my opponent cannot touch the knight. And he played rook c2 attacking the knight. But now, I played queen h5, and my opponent resigned the game. Why did he resign the game? Because when he played king g1, I will go knight c to e2 check. Only moves king f2. I will take on g3 check. You will lose your rook. And after king g1, I will simply take on h1. You take back, and sorry, you cannot take back actually. You take back this way, but still you're losing. Maybe g4, opening things up against the king, and that will be lost. By the way, guys, this is actually a classical game. It's not a Rapid or Blitz. I mean, you cannot play in this chess quality in Blitz or Rapid unless you're Magnus or something, yeah? Because too many deep ideas, too many very nice strategical ideas. I'm sharing this game as as a sign that I'm telling you I am right. I'm reading your comments, and most likely I am replying to most of them. And it's kind of an instructive game. I'm sure that you will get an idea or two from this game to apply in your games. And it's actually a couple of, it's a collective of videos that I am already doing or already done in the channel. I am just applying. It's a practical now example of what I have taught you before. I hope you find this useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and see you in another one. Have a nice day.